Alright everybody, Cooper Lily 21 back with another installment of my How to Play Battlefield 4 series. This time I'm going to be examining my favorite assault rifle, the Scar H, doing a little review of it, and that'll be in conjunction with my lesson on controlling recoil. A little background, as you may recall, my Battlefield upbringing. I was born in PlayStation Battlefield 3. It wasn't just until a few months ago that I switched over to PC, started using the mouse and the keyboard. So in my early days, my number one weakness on that damn controller was controlling vertical recoil, so much so that I basically gave up, switched to using the AN94 and the burst fire, and I didn't really have to control recoil at all. Here on PC, it's definitely easier to control recoil with the mouse, but I still struggle. And yeah, I still have a habit of using more short bursts, probably more than I need to. And I tell you all this as a lead into what I'm going to say now. Knowing my background of not being a controlling recoil, but I absolutely love the Scar H, and it is probably the highest recoil in the game. And we'll talk about that. If you look at Synthic.com, which is the best source for all things related to weapon stats, it'll tell us that the Scar H has a vertical recoil of a whopping 0.5. Put that in perspective, no other assault rifle, not even the FAMAS in Battlefield 4, and not one carbine has a higher vertical recoil value. In fact, there's only 2 LMGs with higher value than the Scar H. So what gives? How in the heck am I able, with my skill set of not being great at controlling recoil, am I able to use the Scar H and succeed? Well, here is why. Something that a lot of people overlook. That is the first shot multiplier value. While the vertical recoil number is important, it's really, in my opinion, the first shot multiplier number that has the biggest impact on how you counter the recoil. With the Scar H, although the vertical recoil is really high, the first shot multiplier value is really low. So only the L85A2 has a lower multiplier, and not one carbine can best the Scar H's multiplier of 1.6 times. So I'm a lawyer, not a math guy. So what this tells me in layman's terms is that you really don't need to do a lot of control on the recoil from the first shot. The first shot is really the one. After the first shot, that's where you really have to start controlling the recoil, and then it kind of evens out. So in this one, a nice smooth pull down on the mouse is all it takes. I have to mention that I use a muzzle brake and a folding grip on it to make that vertical recoil a little easier to control. I'm not a pro, I'm not ready for it raw yet. But for the lateral recoil, horizontal is just as you want it. Very small, even value of 0.2 both right and left. So you don't need a stubby grip or a vertical grip for vertical or horizontal recoil, and really no need to counter at all. Just let the gun hop as it usually hops right and left. You compare that to M416 or the AK, for example. There's a clear tendency for those weapons to rise up and to the right, so you have to do more than just pull down. You have to pull down and to the left with the mouse. So you can see the difference in those guns. But moving away from recoil for a minute and focusing on the Scar H review itself, the other big reason why I like it is the damage model. So along with the other Scar in Battlefield 3, this Scar uses a different round than all the other assault rifles, and so it does maximum damage of 34 up close and 25 at long range minimum. So in other words, it means the Scar H can deal potentially a 2-hit kill if you get one headshot at close range, and that 2-hit kill, if you do 2 headshots, that'll carry you out really far, well into medium range engagement. So yeah, unfortunately, on the bad side, continuing our review, the rate of fire and the muzzle velocity are really bad, and the magazine size of 21 rounds is a killer, often literally, when you run out of ammo. But there's a way to mask the dark sides and still enjoy the weapon, and that's by playing to its strengths. You use the strengths to your advantage in the battlefield. In other words, use the gun how it's meant to be used. Like I mentioned, the Scar H is a medium and long range weapon, so that's the way I use it. I don't necessarily choose it if I'm going to be running through lockers on Operation Metro 2014, but it's the assault rifle I use on open maps, rush maps, and maps where I'm going to be working more tactically. I'm kind of what I think of a tactical player. I mean, I try to outsmart enemies, flank around them, get behind them, shoot them when they're not looking at me. And in order to do that, it usually means I'm at medium to longer range engagements. And so I take advantage of the high minimum damage of the SCAR H and that low first shot multiplier. You just got to keep in mind that the slower muzzle velocity means you have to lead a little bit more, and that the small magazine size means I have to conserve ammo a little bit, be a little more selective and precise. So let's take a look at countering the recoil in an empty server here. I'm just going to aim down sight and do a full mag dump, 21 rounds. You see it's straight vertical, a little bit of hopping horizontally, but straight vertical. And all I'm going to do is pull down, right, that same amount. Here's another full mag dump, pulling straight down. I didn't move horizontally, but look, it's hopping more vertically. Or I didn't move vertically, it's hopping horizontally. So don't mag dump, just tap fire, 5, 6, 7 rounds. And look at that tight spread. I mean, that is a tight spread. Barely moved down. I actually pulled recoil down a little too far. Here's a few more rounds, 6, 7, 8 round burst. And you see once you do a little bigger burst, the recoil horizontally starts to kick in. And here is maximum range, 25 damage. You want to do 3, 4 bursts here. You see it hops a little bit, but I'm not really countering recoil at all there. So you can still see each one of those are hit markers for a body right there. And that's definitely a kill in less than a mag dump. So you can see, I mean, I hardly countered the recoil. You can see it hopping around in that long range. And if I can get a tight spread like that, I'm pretty sure you guys can do it too with just a little bit of practice. So to finish up here, I just have a few quick tips for you. First one is make sure you have your mouse sensitivity precisely set to how you play. Don't be ashamed to have it set really low. I have my mouse set up with 1000 DPI, and the sensitivity slider in game is probably down around 15%. Having a lower sensitivity doesn't make you a worse player. Just make sure it matches your game. And if you're not great at controlling recoil like me, take advice that I took a long time ago in PlayStation, and that's start your shot at the torso. Don't try to start it at the headshot and leave it there. Start at the torso and let the recoil ride it up to a headshot. 60% of the time it works every time. Now, just learn things you can do and you cannot do in your game. Finally, choose an optic that is a short-range optic like the Cobra, or the Reflex, or the Coyote when you're first starting to counter recoil. The zoom optics is going to put your recoil control right under the microscope, and if you have trouble controlling it, it's just going to be much more drastic difference with the zoom. Just start out using the close range for now, and then you can work to a zoom scope when you get better with a certain rifle that you want to use. So those are my thoughts. I hope they're useful to you guys, and I hope you enjoyed the SCAR H review. Let me know if you comments below if you did or didn't. Give me a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe. Tell your friends, all that good stuff. I like hearing from you, and I'm having fun making these videos, and hope you guys are learning something. And so thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate it. Take it easy, guys. See you later.